Okay, so my name is Grigory Pekarsky. I am managing broker, co-owner of Vesta Preferred. It's a boutique real estate brokerage out of the Chicago area. And we actually are the #1 independent real estate team in all of Illinois. Big ups to my team. And our mission, our goal, is to become the first billion-dollar team in the state of Illinois. So we work in the Chicagoland area, right? So Chicago, it's 77 neighborhoods in the city, and then 240 plus suburbs in the surrounding area. It's a lot. It's big. So we do, let's call it 80% in the city, and then the 20% is in the suburbs, but that's growing as our clientele kind of moves out into the suburbs. We're growing with them. Last year we did 44 individual unique cities in regards to where we sold. So I was actually blown away by that number myself. We're growing quickly, but primarily in the city. We're small but mighty. So the team is just about 20 people. I have a staff of 4. So, we're boutique, we're small, but the whole idea behind Vesta is to do more with less. So it's all about the quality. It's not about the quantity. So one of my agents operates on average about the equivalent of 2 to 3 brokers. Recruiting is my biggest pain point. It's my biggest choking hold. It's everything, because we found that we have a 3% hire rate. So it is extremely challenging for us to find the right person that fits into the fold of what we have, the way that we administer business and real estate, the way that we look for with culture. All right, so I only hire on 2 things: great attitude and a work ethic, strong work ethic. Those 2 things combined already knocks out about 90% of the people I'm looking for. And then the rest of that 10%, you're typically looking at the most challenging people to recruit, because they're the most motivated, the hungriest, and busiest. So they're like, and in realtors in general, we have the attention span of a gnat. So, I'm just literally fighting up a waterfall to try to talk to these people, but it's worth it. Eventually.
Yeah.
Every day. So I started in January of '08. I still remember that January as one of the coldest moments of my life when it came to anything. It was like Chicago was like in this bitter, cold, brutal time. And then we opened up in Vesta in September of '09. So like 15, 16 years. What you get when you're a cocky 23-year-old that you think you can run the world. I learned a lot of lessons.
That's the way to do it, though.
That's the way to do it. So yeah, so I was about for 18 months at this company. I started in rentals. The first 6 months I fell flat on my face. Then I started to really, get understanding of how this business goes, the process goes. Then I rose up to becoming the #1 by far in that office. And then I was like, well, if I can do it here, right, might as well start my own company. And then I figured that was not the case. So Vesta had a very difficult, challenging beginning few years, but here we are. College. So I came literally directly from college. I came into Chicago to do real estate, which I didn't even think about. I actually went to college for veterinary medicine. So I finished a whole pre-vet degree. I realized I love animals, not so much being a veterinarian. I shifted last minute into finance, finished with finance, and I was like, what am I gonna do? So 3 weeks before my graduation, I got this interview call to come look for an interview at a real estate company in Chicago. They offered me the job, and I was like, well, the worst that's gonna happen, I just have to drive back with my head down to my parents' house in Detroit if I fail. So moved out to Chicago 3 weeks after graduating. Yeah, so Vesta Preferred is me and Brad Robbins. He is the yin to my yang. He is literally, without him, there would be no Vesta. The way that I explain it is that I'm external, right? I'm the guy on camera. I dance. I make people laugh and smile. I'm the recruiter, right? But Brad is the secret sauce of Vesta. He's internal, he's management, he's oversight, he's coaching. He is this brilliant, systematic, mathematical mind that once we get great agents, he then shows them the pathway to the greatness that they set forth. What I always say is, I don't look to make people great. I look for great people that are not in the right position or not in the right atmosphere, and I put them in the right atmosphere. That right atmosphere is Brad. Oh man, that's the Best moment of my career. I would say I always say the story that was the foundational moment that I found that I essentially started Vesta without even knowing that I started Vesta. That is, have you ever read The 4 Hour Work Week or know of it? So everything is about systematic output, maximizing your time, finding out where your inefficiencies are, right? I was reading it, and that moment was the moment that I realized the opportunity was in front of me. At that time, it was all about posting online. The most amount of postings get you the most amount of leads. We were posting on Craigslist at the time, and all the time I was doing was spending 3, 4, 5 hours on Craigslist posting. And then that one time, reading that one book, I realized I could, because the international economy was starting to come around, you can start hiring people, VAs all over the world. So I hired a VA out of India to start posting for me at pennies on the dollar. She loved it because she was, it's a lot of money, and she was making a good living off of it. But what I ended up doing is I took 3 to 4 hours away of my day that was not making money, and then I started to focus on only answering phone calls, because all they started to do was start phone calls, and I started converting business. It was my first lesson in maximizing efficiencies, which is the core principle of Vesta Preferred. I remember that as well. It's when at the end of my 6 months on starting this business, I couldn't pay my roommate at the time rent. I had to, I have incredibly supportive parents. I will never, ever be forgetful of what they've done for me. And I had to call them for money for rent. And it was just something that I told myself I would never do. They already did so much for me up to that point. I was going to make it on my own. And that phone call was one of the most challenging times of my life. Either you grow or you fail in the most challenging moments of your life. In real estate, is if you don't lean into the uncomfortable and you don't learn how to grow when it's difficult, you're never going to make it. And personally, I got to give a shout out to my wife. Without her, I'd be nothing. One of the things that we've done is, we try to take away as much time-consuming stuff on an agent's day, and most likely, usually on average, they're not doing it in a great way anyways. One of those things is nurturing, right? So people fail at nurturing leads because either they don't call enough, they don't want to call, they pretend like they call, right? And it's one of the big pains that we have. The thing is, once we took that away from them and we were able to maximize, the conversion ratios there, then we were able to focus our agents' times on the highest money producing activities, taking people out on appointments, right? And I'm telling them, I just want my agents to focus on what they're great at, selling, right? And I want to do the business element for them and do what we're great at, creating systems, right? At the end of the day, you need 3 things to be successful, right? You need leads, you need systems, and you need accountability. And those are the 3 pillars that we focus on and constantly try to tweak at Vesta. Yeah, so one of the things that we do is we only focus on activities and not results. You can't control results. You can say I want to sell $10 million worth of houses, right? But how are you going to get there if you don't focus on what are you going to do today, right? And the tech falls right into that. So everything we have is via a CRM and giving people their outbound activities that they need to do on a regular daily basis. Brad, every single week meets with them one-on-one, and he goes over what those activities were and if they were doing them or if they weren't, and if they were doing them but they weren't getting the results from them, then why, right? So the 3 pillars that we focus on when we're coaching is attitude, behavior, and technique, okay? Attitude, like I said, we don't accept anybody without a great attitude in our office, but people have down days, we're not robots, so we focus very much on mental health and making sure that people feel supported and loved, all that stuff, right? So that's kind of baseline, right? So it's like if something's shitty, usually you know why, and then you pat them on the back or help them out, whatever. Number 2 is B, behavior. Behavior are the MMAs, the money-making activities. Those are the activities that are overlooked and seen in the CRM. That's what Brad looks at every single week. And then the devil is in the details is the last piece, which is the technique. That's where the last 10%, that's where you go from good to great. And that is your negotiation principles. That is how do you ask for the business while you're on the phone, just to close them when you're there. So to answer your question, they don't have any other options but to use the tech, because we can't coach them effectively if they're not using the tech. So the relationship isn't going to work out very well. But they see so much success because they inherently start to grow their habits, because we are so on them with the accountability that if they are asking us what should they do today, there's something wrong. They already know what they do. It's like, you finish your activities, go play golf, go get a massage, doesn't matter. Just focus on your activities and you got it, you're done. Yeah, so I think the future of real estate is it's heading into a high value industry, which I always knew that it should, because there's just too many of us running around and it was too easy to make money for people that weren't putting in the work. So in my opinion, it's gonna go away from the quick, overnight people that are just trying to do this thing. They see $1 million listing, I can do that. And it's gonna go more into a consultation base. So it's the people that can consult versus the people that just wanna make money. Can you change somebody's life and can you make them money? Then you're gonna be successful. If you're in it to make a quick buck, you're out. So it's all going towards value and high-level activities. I heard a great quote today just about AI. It's like, AI isn't going to replace, but somebody that knows how to use it well will. And I was like, that's exactly it. Just a side note, here's one thing that the pandemic taught me. When we were all alone in our houses, one thing that I'll never forget is when we were allowed to start going out. We were one of the first industries in Illinois. We were an essential business to be able to sell real estate. And as I started to go out there with clients, the need for human interaction was so intense that I think that's one of the main determining factors of that people started to buy houses. They just wanted to get out and they wanted to hang out with somebody, So the machines will never replace people as long as humans need that human interaction. And that's why I also think the work from home thing is going to go away. People just don't like doing it. They want to come into the office. Shit, man. More time with my girls. That's like always like my number one. My number one thing is like, my oldest is turning 6. I want to take her to Disney World. Godspeed to me and my wallet. Spend more time with my wife. Listen, like when you do this long enough, like and I make good money, and it's it's either like when you start making really good money, in my opinion, is like you want more. And you go into I feel like this valley of despair, like it's never enough. Or you realize, listen, this is great. What really matters, because the more I get, the less I want, but the more I want to fill my heart, and it's with my family. My daughters are everything to me. I mean, they torture me, and I'm the least influential person in my house, but I love it. It's just like, what is all this for? If I'm not overindulging my girls and making them the princesses that their dreams are made out of.
I agree.
However, Daddy's the number one princess in the house, that's for sure. So I think the general answer is they will I don't want to say they're going to be gone. I think we're going to have, just in general, technology or not, right? This is the perfect answer. Technology doesn't make the agent, right? The agent makes the agent. And there's always people that don't want to adopt or get good at something or lean into the work, right? The hard work. I think that in general, because the industry is going to more of a high value approach, and sure, yeah, AI and technology is going to help people with their valuations and get you in front of more people. But even if somebody, right, never uses any technology, and they just pick up the phone and they call 20 to 30 people a day, they will sell, right? But there's people that just will forever not do that. So technology or not, the people that don't put in the work are going to be gone. And we're going to have a huge change in the industry coming up shortly with that. Technology, what it's going to do is going to take the people that are doing good stuff, and it's going to take them to new heights. There's so much, right? And it's like the thing is like when I'm an Inman right now, right? So like the thing that I'm realizing is just how vastly different everybody operates their business, and the way they do their thing. So like one success tip might not work for obviously for everybody. I'd say that the biggest change that has helped us become who we are is leaning into the accountability. So one of the things in the beginning that we didn't do is we assumed that people would do something. And humans naturally just have a tendency to fall off. And my business partner, by meeting with everybody every single week, that accountability factor has leveled up the game big time. So if you want to be great, right, accountability and the second part of the success formula, which is doing the right things over a long period of time, has to be a mantra in your company, or you'll plateau and you won't know why you're not doing well at something, or maybe something you have some successful run for some reason. You'll never understand the metrics behind it if you're not doing things over a long period of time and documenting as you go so you can understand your journey. Yeah, so what I found with retention, because we had so many iterations of Vesta Preferred, and I've lost so many agents along the way. But once we started this new model, we've had zero turnover. Zero. That's in 3 years. 0% of people are gone. I've really been thinking about this a lot, and I'm trying to understand why. And it's like, because at the end of the day, it's like we've seen so much, like turnover or whatever, and it's like, why is this working so well? And it all comes down to value. It just is. From the start of it, my promise to my agents is I will give you more business than you're going to bring into my company. Think about that, right? And it's proven right. That's that's where we get from the leads inbound, heightening their efficiencies, all that stuff. So we make our agents more money, and we bring value. So and I tell them this, that if they were at 100% firm, 100% commissions firm, and they're not making more money with me still under our stuff, I'm failing. So that is, as long as you provide value and over provide value, that's what a partner is, right? They don't work for me, I'm a partner with them. And I think of their business as a partner. And it's like, how do I keep over delivering on value so you're happy, so that you keep growing? And it's not necessarily just money, right? That's why we focus on mental health. That's why we focus on culture. It's why we focus on the brotherhood and the sisterhood that we've cultivated. Because once people make a lot of money, right, it's empty if you're on the mountaintop alone.